Welcome to Secret Identity, and we are going off the page into the movie review. And by we, I mean me, your host, Troy Bond, with Airbnb Brent Birnbaum.
Salutations.
And Miss Slater Queenzell Harrison.
Queenzell, Washington. I like
Queenzell, Washington. That's gentrified twice. And today we're talking about Joker 2, Ha-Ha Land. I don't
Electric
know what it's
Boogaloo.
called. Electric Boogaloo. What's it? Folie de luxe.
Joker folie à deux.
And
Yeah, I don't even know.
Folie à deux.
where are we rating this one?
Where we what?
Where are we rating it? We got our last comic movie was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh.
And then we got this one, two very different movies,
Yeah.
but I would put them at the same level of first theatrical enjoyment watching time. Like, I enjoyed them the same amount.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I gave Deadpool and Wolverine a 9 out of 10. This one I'd give a 7 out of 10. I'll explain why. But
Please, no, yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's
not
a
a bad score.
yeah, no,
I
it's
would take a 7 home.
that's where I
Yeah.
put the first one.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, with the that's and we'll get to this, but I feel this is almost no different than the first one. I thought the first one was a middling movie that was completely elevated by a next level performance. This is the same. It was a middling movie elevated by 2 next level performances.
Incredible performances, and they allowed themselves to be Elseworld movies.
Yes.
This is what happens when you like a Venom spinoff. They still included Tom Holland, Spider-Man into it. Maybe they could connect. This made it very clear, and the ending of this one did too, that this was totally not going to be that. You're not going to mingle this with Pattinson. You're not. This was its own story,
Yeah,
and
it's not
that's
gonna be
why
Brett
I
Gunn.
rank it where it is.
Yeah.
Like it was. Slater and I saw it. What is it, the 3 p.m. Thursday showing?
Yeah.
Packed house. There was a lot of excitement and fervor in the room, and then that one scene happened in the where Joker got P. Diddy'd in the jail, and then everybody sort of was just quiet
Oh, yeah.
until the ending. And I totally understood the ending for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is it's like what you said on the Killing Joke episode, or it's what we've always talked about with the Joker. Arthur Fleck was not the Joker. He was Joker. The guy who killed him at the end, that was probably the Joker.
This man
Yeah.
gets it. This man
That is
gets
Joker.
it.
And
Yeah.
as
I
everyone's like,
disagree.
why didn't Batman just rape Joker all these years? Because that's not what the story was about. This is a story much like the first one, where everybody was like, this is going to encourage more lone wolf school shootings type behavior. No, if you watch it closely, it sort of tells you the story of what happens when you go out and branch off on your own and you have nothing left and nobody. And Arthur, this was his Ted Bundy moment.
Yeah.
Very like eerily similar to the way the first one had Taxi Driver and King of Comedy.
Yeah.
This one I was like watching the Ted Bundy trial tapes.
Yeah.
You know, with him representing himself. And I was like, by the time we got, once that scene happened in the jail cell, I was like, oh, I understand what this movie is now. And I
Yeah,
didn't want to
that
like
was-
it going into it. I didn't, but right away.
Yo, we shat on it.
We shat on
when
it so
the
much.
first trailer came out, we're
Yeah.
like, that is the lamest shit I've ever
Because it
seen.
looked lame.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Also, like, was it supposed to be a musical or was it not? Like, what the fuck was going on
That's
there?
why I give it points off. Not because I didn't like the musical aspect. I did, but it's like you have Lady Gaga. Use her.
Yeah,
Why is
she's like-
Joaquin doing all the singing?
That's whisper singing in most of it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, they probably didn't even have a song ready for that scene when
No.
she's going up the courthouse steps and she's like, I'm gonna do
Well,
it.
apparently
fuck
they
you.
I'm
shot-
off the deep end. Why- Give me some of that.
They
You
shot
guys are
3 different endings,
shallow.
apparently.
Yeah.
There was 3 different endings that they shot.
Really?
They shot, and that's the one
Yeah,
that they
well,
went
that's
with.
why they fucking duped us with the trailer trash
Because
that
they're
wasn't
dancing
even
at the
in
end.
it. Of
Yeah.
her being like,
Well,
"Ugh," on the stairs.
they did the same
use
thing in
that
the-
for everything. That's
Yeah.
on a billboard
They
somewhere.
do that in trailers most of the time. Like
Yeah,
Rogue
but,
One,
like,
that shot of...
They don't make... That's like the backbone of all
They
the
did it in
trailers.
Rogue One.
It was in
That
every
shot
single
of
trailer.
Felicity Jones when they're like, what will you become? That shot was never in the movie. They just shot it for the trailer.
Yeah, it's trailer trash.
And
Iron Man and Spider-Man like swinging together in
thing.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, apparently
You guys were
James...
scarred by those, huh?
Yeah, because
Well, I mean, like, because you're hyped up. Like,
Yeah.
Infinity War. That shot with all them right before with
Oh
the
yeah,
Hulk.
yeah, they exactly.
And that we
Yeah.
never got that.
Yeah.
Like,
And
sometimes
you're,
they...
and you're thinking like the movie's not over yet until that scene happens. So then when it ends, you're like,
Yes.
"What the fuck is
And
this?"
it's-
I thought we had more time.
People compare Todd Phillips the same way they did to the Russo brothers as the guy who sold the monorail. You know, he got in there, it made an explosive impact on the industry.
Harold Hill.
And then he gets out there, yeah, Ogdenville, why does that sound familiar? No! Monorail, there ain't no, remember the other episode of The Simpsons? The monorail.
Maybe the best
The
episode of The
monorail.
Simpsons.
The best ever.
Oh my
Written by
God.
Conan O'Brien.
What
The monorail.
That's my all-time favorite joke when the monorail salesman is in Lisa's class, and some kid asks him. He goes, "Is the monorail faster than the Flash?" He goes, "It sure is." And then another kid says, "Is Superman faster than the Flash?" He goes, "Sure."
That's you on this podcast.
Oh my god! wow. All right. I'm going to put that on a list of things to watch.
It's the best Simpsons
I'm
episode
surprised
out
I
there.
haven't seen it. I feel like but
It's
there's
early
so
Simpsons.
many
At season
seasons.
4, I want to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
The
okay.
first 8
I'm a
seasons of The
latter
Simpsons are
fan.
perfection.
I
'Cause,
agree.
Conan was an SNL writer, then left to go do The Simpsons, and then when Letterman left, they put Lorne Michaels in charge of late night, and then he called Conan and was like, "Come host late night," and Conan was like, "I don't know if I'm ready for all this. I have a dream job at The Simpsons right now. What if I?" And then
Oh,
look
yeah,
when
I
he
remember
left, he
you-
created the
yeah.
biggest alt
Yeah.
opening of stand up there ever was, and suffered through a lot of years of
And then
shit.
became psychic.
And became the underdog and knew when to leave. Unlike Joker, who kept up with this mentality of a society that abandons him and poor me, poor me, poor me. This movie was about his comeuppance. He needed to have it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, hated this movie because we didn't see the clown prince of crime. That's not who Arthur Fleck was.
Yeah.
That's not who he is. It's very much
He's
the story
like the
that it's
pre-Joker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the guy who inspired the Joker. But
Yes.
Because the Joker would never feel remorse.
no.
Never once. The Joker killed Jason Todd, shot Barbara Gordon, and took naked pictures for her. I mean, the twisted, fucked up shit that Joker does is beyond reproach. Arthur feels remorse in this. The scene, the pivotal scene in this movie is when Gary's on the stand. That's what makes the movie for me.
Oh,
That
Gary
was
Puddles.
so
When Gary
sad.
Puddles, I don't know this.
I love
What
that
did he say to him? You're the only
was-
one at work that never made fun of me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This actor Lee Gill, who played Gary Puddles, look this guy up. This guy he's in one scene. It is a tour de force acting performance.
It's so good,
Great-
and he's
great
so
take.
he's so cute, and I loved how Arthur kept breaking the like Southern
Yeah.
lawyer speak.
He was the only one who did. It's
'cause he's a bad comic.
He's
He's a bad comedian.
Did not commit to the
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. He learned
improv.
improv at UCB.
Yeah, he kept breaking it. He's just like Puddles. Your
Your
last name
Puddles.
is
Your last
Puddles.
name is Put. How did you not know that?
Exactly.
It made me kept thinking the funniest line in the first one, and really the only time the first one is funny, was when Arthur goes, "I forgot to punch out," and punches the clock off.
Yeah.
The wall. That's really the only time the first movie is funny.
This
There are
one was
funny moments,
funnier.
but there's
Yeah,
like
this one was hilarious.
this one.
honestly.
It had its universe created for itself.
When he turns to Harley when they're talking about the movie, he goes, "Yeah," and that horrible TV movie. He's like,
She's like,
That was-
was
She's
like, no,
it?
it's
She's
great.
like, no.
That
it's
was one of his highlights too. Like you didn't watch that TV movie 100 times.
Yeah, it's so
Probably
good.
5 or 6.
And wait, okay, is it Harley or Harleen? What the F?
"Well, her name is Harleen. They call her Harley in the comic books."
Harleen.
And in the movie, she was Harley, right?
Harleen.
I'm begging you, please don't become Joker.
Don't become a man.
So,
I like the Joker
just say
persona
fuck
better.
the whole like this takes place in the 70s. In
well,
this movie,
I
There's
think they
kind
said
of-
83, but yeah, they like,
it's kind of all over. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
they did jump to the 80s.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it's probably a great time to live in the Bronx near that staircase right now. Actually,
sh-
probably less traffic than they got on the first.
Dude,
one.
I drive
No,
by that
people-
staircase all the time. It is crazy. It's like a tourist site now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, and
yeah.
I remember when that movie, when the first one came out, DeSeuss, DeSeuss Nice is he who does DeSeuss and Meryl. He
Oh,
sent
yeah.
out a tweet and he
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
come to the Bronx, come to the staircase. We only accept cash.
That's so great.
And I think another thing that's sort of why people went into people. It seems that people hated two things about this movie when I hear the criticism about it. That one, shower scene and the musicals. Do you and I pretty much when you texted me and you said this movie was good and I liked it, that was a sort of sigh of relief because I felt crazy all week and being like, I didn't hate this movie the
No.
way everybody
Yeah,
else did.
It was kind of good. I don't think it was the greatest movie I've ever
No,
seen, but is it the worst sequel ever?
I liken it
Like,
to the
what?
Green Hornet
No.
Seth Rogen movie. Was this going to change comic book movies? No. Am I glad that it got made? Yes.
Dude, that movie's awesome. Christoph
But-
Waltz in a
Christoph
comic
Waltz,
book movie?
You truly
Yeah.
don't think
Oh
I'm
my
scary?
gosh,
Yeah.
in
He
anything.
shoots James Franco.
Why? He's like, my gun
thought
is two
Spike
barrels.
Legend.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's a freaking
Jigman Muse, all
force.
old people shit. Yeah, that's how I felt about this one.
I
You
like that.
can't say anything.
I like that it tied up some like loose ends from the first one, though.
what?
Yeah.
You know, like the girl he fantasized about, and then it was finally
Zaza.
Zaza
confirmed. 'Cause we were
Beetz.
talking about
Right.
that on
Yeah.
the last 2 episodes ago now.
Which one?
When we mentioned
her
we were just talking about the
hallucinations,
Joker.
Zaza
yeah.
Beetz.
Yeah.
Now we know she
And you
was-
knew it was, but it was confirmed. And then just seeing the disdain on her face in the stand, I was like, "Ooh, wow, yeah, she was not
Everyone
into
who
it
took
at
the
all."
stand
That's
against-
every guy.
Yeah.
She was flirting back.
Everyone
she
who-
was scared.
That's
Terrified.
a good point.
Yeah.
Everyone who took the stand against Arthur was afraid though.
Yeah.
Looking back on it.
Well,
and-
Puddles was fucking pissing himself. He was in a puddle. He
was in a puddle, yeah.
And that's the thing that really turned it around for Arthur, because Arthur thought he was cool to Gary. He's just like, I spared you. He goes, and Randall was a bully. And Gary's like, you don't get it, Arthur. He goes, Randall was a jerk. He didn't deserve to die like that. And he goes, do you know what the worst part is? He goes, you were the only person that was good to me. You were the only person that showed me empathy, and you ruined my entire life. He goes, do you know how hard it is to have like one person in your life be good to you and then just destroy your life?
And that's what this movie was about.
Yeah.
Was about consequences. And
Exactly.
I think people that are really mass audiences will have a very hard time digesting. You're never gonna have $1 billion comic book movie like this again. And the Joker is the perfect example of how you can get it. $1 billion movie, no Batman, but connected to the universe. And then to follow up with it, okay, well, how do we do this responsibly? We can't encourage people to be like the Joker. We have to show them what happens if you follow down this dark path, like we talked about in The Killing Joke. Batman may be just like the Joker, but the difference is he has people who he loves, who he can go home to. The Joker's person is Batman. That's not a good thing. He does it to get
Harley.
Or Harley, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this one shows you the emptiness of that dark side of you. And I think it was the first one you could sort of root for him because he's this underdog. And we all feel like Arthur at some point where society sort of just leaves you behind and we want to just take off that mask and dance around and shoot Robert De Niro in the face for making him meet the Fockers. Sure, I get it. But this is what happens in the real world. Yo, circle of trust. Hey, I got nipples, Arthur. Huh? Can you milk me? Huh? Can you do it? Huh? What do you think? Huh?
Arthur fucker.
They fucking whacked him. They whacked him, Murray Franklin. They whacked him. They fucking whacked him. I can't do it, Arthur. I can't. I got people coming over there. I got Harley Quinn calling me, commiserating. I can't do it. I can't do it, Arthur.
Harley's
I
a
can't do
nice
it.
girl.
Okay, she was a nice girl. All right? Nobody's gonna say you got to divorce her. You would kill her. You won't divorce her.
It's the way things are.
It's the way things are. It's the way, it's how Todd Phillips had a vision. That's how it is. How it is,
She had
Arthur.
a
The
good
guy at the
voice.
end. The guy at the end. You don't want to know how I got these scars. He cuts up his face at the end. Nobody notices that, huh? You think this guy was a Joker?
Are you talking to me?
Huh? Who is it? Yeah, look at this guy. right here.
I see no one else here. I believe you're talking to me.
My father, he was a drinker. Yeah, he was also he was gay too. Yeah, like my family.
It's
and
true.
He was
It's
gay
true.
for alcohol.
Yeah, lived right here, Lower East Side. Went down Lower East Side. You know what I mean?
went to LaGuardia.
Yeah, he went to LaGuardia. Huh? Yeah, he flew on a plane down south. You know what I mean? Huh? I can't do the voice, but I can do the face, Henry.
Somewhere exotic.
It can't be done. Somewhere exotic. Not a bad performance in this movie.
No. The only one I will say is kind of wasted Steve Coogan.
Wait, I feel like they wasted Gaga a little bit.
Oh,
too.
they definitely wasted
They
Gaga.
used her a lot for the marketing.
I thought her acting was good. They definitely wasted
Her
her singing
acting was
voice.
good.
Though.
Consistently underused though. House
Yeah.
of Gucci. This
Yeah,
they're
and
not.
she wanted to be an actor before a singer.
Yeah.
She was in Sopranos.
And she's really.
She's in the
She
episode
was.
where they throw all the mattresses into the swimming pool.
Duh.
Yeah.
When AJ's losing
What?
it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, credited
And
as Stephanie
Paul
Germano.
Dano.
Yeah, Paul Dano was
The
too.
Riddler.
He was the guy who, when they went
I-
to the rich girl's house, they were like, "You have a first edition
Yeah.
Abbey Road."
Oh my gosh! Well, yeah, Paul Dano is just
Is it
men,
everything?
and
But yeah,
I knew
Gaga
that,
was
but
too.
Gaga, I didn't know.
She
What
went
was
back-
she just in the river?
She was
singing?
so good in A Star Is
Take
Born.
me to the
Oh yeah, that's
river.
right.
Incredible.
Drop me in the water.
Watches hot time.
Oh, she was
Why
singing
did you
with the
throw
fishes.
it in? AJ's must fucking son.
Look, you can't sing. You're just gonna strip it, bada bing, for the rest of your life, okay, Gaga?
Strictly 80s Gaga.
I don't think this movie was intended for her monsters.
No.
And that was another big reason why it was received the way it was. I don't know what this audience of this movie is, other than solidly ones who saw the first one.
Yeah.
Really, like you're not gonna drag Lady Gaga fans into a comic book universe unless they. But also, don't rank this movie up there with something like The Marvels. I think this is eons ahead
Oh, yeah.
of something like The Marvels. Even though I can enjoy aspects of both, this is a different story that's being told.
There's so many times that a comic book movie gets bad reviews, and I'm like, oh, it's just the critics. And then they're right, like Green Lantern. I wanted Green Lantern to be good.
Waiting.
I was wearing my ring. I was like, in brightest
Green
day,
Lantern
in
fans
blackest
never win.
night. Yeah.
No, even
And it was hard.
Ryan Reynolds' sight.
It was horrible. But
Why
this
does the casting on Green Lantern always get
It was
slept
supposed,
on?
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake
They
wanted
literally
that part.
close their eyes and they're like, you can play
Yeah.
it.
Quantumania. I mean, they this
man.
incredible trailer where they're playing Elton John. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. The reviews were bad.
Quantumania, I think three things ruined that movie. Bill Murray and his accusation that got that Netflix movie shut down.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors and what was
He
coming
was a
ahead.
minor.
And they shot three. Well, he chased a woman down the street.
Minor
He was about to be
age.
Major League. He was pretty much Major League and then lost it to a white woman in Manhattan. A tale we all could be cautionary of. And also,
Yep.
don't put your hands
They're
on
not
it.
flirting.
And then the third thing that killed Ant-Man was they shot 3 different endings because they didn't really know where they were going to place it in. Like the ending that came out, Paul Rudd, I think, even said like, I didn't know that was the one they were going to use. I thought this was a reshoot thing. And I think that's people always write a better script in their heads than what they see, and because it's subjective. And this movie was very much no room for interpretation, objective. This is the law that I'm laying down.
Yes.
Here. And I think that's always hard to swallow too. That's a hard to swallow pill.
Yeah, it's like pretty hard to swallow unless you're me.
Well, speaking of,
which I love to swallow.
we got Joaquin. Killed it. Was skeletal. Made me uncomfortable again. Just looking at him. Those Arkham scenes in the beginning where he didn't talk.
Yeah. Okay. Is he like? I know he's like a Christian Bale type, ironically.
Yeah.
Nice, right?
That will lose weight and gain weight and be like whatever.
It's supposed
the hell
to match
they need
whatever
him to be.
the side effects of Arthur's medication were.
Yeah. No, that
It's
makes
October
sense.
7th. Just kill it with the anti-Semitic
Kill
remarks.
it with the anti-Semitic remarks, Arthur.
He's meant to look like a skeleton, obviously.
A menorah.
But
You
like,
spin a dreidel. Just cool it with the sodomistic remarks in the
He was
in the bathroom.
fasting. I get it.
He was
I get
fasting
it.
for Ramadan.
For Yom Kippur.
Yeah,
Yom Kippur.
exactly.
I saw Arthur's makeup and it was more pure than mine. Oh my God, what is that? Blue eyeshadow? He's got it down. You may feel your...
What's his workout regimen?
What's his regimen? My name is
Donate
Arthur Fleck.
and
I
get
wake
beat.
up every day.
Arthur
at
got
6
tickets to Huey Lewis in the news.
Oh my God, his suit. It's even more purple than mine. It's funny that both...
But what I love about what they do with Harley in this is it's such a toned down version. It's a very subdued Harley.
Because we know the story.
Yeah.
We love him. We're expecting that, and we don't get
Yeah,
that. We
but-
actually
Right.
get a Harley that turns away from him.
Yeah.
She's actually the one manipulating him, other than the because
Yes.
usually she's like, "Mr. J, I love you," and it's a very toxic relationship, and he's using her.
Yeah, and now she's like, how the turntables.
With the baby
The
thing
turntables have
and the
turned.
apartment thing, and everything was. Yeah, that's an interesting take. I
It
didn't
was
even
really
realize that.
good, and she was cold.
She was cold as ice. I think she's going to end up with
Cold.
Joker, like not Arthur. I think she's going to end up with the
guy
Joker.
who stabs him
I
in
think
the
that's going to be her
Yeah,
Mr.
because
J.
That
And
one
you-
clearly, maybe she was in cahoots.
And
I think
the
she's a
whole movie we were
starfucker.
watching him,
Yeah.
and Slater like asked me, she was like, "Who is this guy?" Because the whole movie he's like
Yeah,
very
he just-
obsessed with Arthur.
And
just, like,
every time
smiling,
he
yeah.
was on screen, he was smiling.
Yeah.
And I remember,
Like, it's
remember
just-
Batman Begins. There's like a moment where you're like, "That's Zaz." Oh shit, there's heart. Like they're connecting. This movie didn't have that. Like it was, there's 2 characters from the comics. We got a nice Batman shout out in the first one with Alfred, but like it was just Joker and Harley.
Poor Harvey.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Poor
He
Harvey
can never
Dent.
get a day through court without blowing up or getting
seriously.
symbolism of his face.
It's so funny.
He didn't even look fucked up. He just looked shell shocked, like
did.
a kid who jumped on a
Yeah,
grenade in Iraq.
he didn't look that bad. He also looked so young.
Yeah,
and like
he looked like how you would
I didn't
if-
like the casting on that. I'll be honest.
I didn't like him. I could have.
He was
played
like
Harvey
a
Dent.
pompous little like.
I did not
murderer.
believe in Harvey
And I was
Dent.
like,
No.
I like Dark Knight Harvey Dent. I think he's.
It's hard when you
It's
have
hard
those
to-
characters because they're such great
And like,
performances.
yeah, but that dude,
Dude,
looks
Aaron
like a
Eckhart,
little.
yeah.
He just graduated. He didn't even pass the bar yet, and he's fucking.
Yeah,
in
he's
this
like
shit.
a junior.
Also,
art
Dietrich
piece.
Bader and Cape Crusader is amazing as Harvey
Yes,
Dent.
he was there
Yeah.
on the Hollywood when Batman got the Walk of Fame.
Oh, was
one-
he?
They
I like
hired
that.
like 4, or they grabbed 4 of the
the
voice
Walk of-
actors. Dietrich Baker was one of them.
He's a great Batman too.
He was, I think, all the clones too in the Clone Wars, and he's the fish on American Dad, right? Klaus.
Yeah, and he was in Veep. I mean, he does.
Yeah,
he's
he does
just like
everything.
he was
One of
Rex
the-
Fu in Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
Idiots.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Yeah.
Idiots.
Nerd voice actors don't get the credit they deserve.
Seriously.
And like in the Clone Wars, he plays all the different clones, but every clone has a different voice. You got Captain Rex, who's up here. Then you go Evie, who's a little off the chain. And he just over the what they do to put into these movies. It's like what made me feel bad about Dakota Johnson and Madam Web, or
No,
what's that
don't
guy?
ever feel bad for Dakota Johnson.
Or the Matt Smith in Morbius. Like these actors didn't know what they were getting into, and they clearly put so much into this movie, thinking that it was part of a larger thing, and it just wasn't. So you rarely see a comic book actor phone it in when they do a movie.
Well, it's also a testament to Joaquin and Gaga in this, in that they elevate a very middling movie. It reminds me almost
Yes.
of Gangs of New York. Gangs of New York
Yeah.
is a bad movie. You might agree with me.
You're gonna get some hate on that
I'm
one.
sure I will. Gangs of New York is not a good movie. Leo is bad in it. Cameron Diaz is bad in it.
he was going to play Anakin Skywalker and did that
Leo?
movie instead.
And you know who elevates it? Who elevates it? Daniel Day-Lewis, because the performance is so fucking
That's the one with
good.
his eye, right?
Yeah, Bill Butcher.
Yes, Bill Butcher.
He'll make
yeah.
anything amazing.
Because
he
he's
could
so-
be in fucking Barney, and it'd be my favorite show.
Exactly.
That would
He's
be
so,
intense.
that would be
I could see him doing it. And he lived in the suit for 2 years.
I abandoned my dinosaur.
I abandoned my boy.
I abandoned my dinosaur.
My fuel.
He's becoming a dinosaur.
I love you. You love me.
He put
Bonnie drinks your milkshake. He drinks it up.
He slept at the zoo for 6 months just to get into the mind of an animal, a reptile
He ate
cage.
nothing but
Whoopsie daisies.
Whoopsie day Lewis.
You say
Nice.
that. That's a great comparison, though. Now that I think about it, I think a lot of Scorsese's movies are like that, where they're too long and you forget that they're too long because of
Wolf
the
of Wall
performance.
Street.
Wolf of Wall
There,
Street.
Leo's very good at elevating a movie that's kind of middling, but he's so good and
Yeah.
so
Yes.
captivating. Who else do we have in this?
What other performances stood out to you? Yeah, who else we got?
Performances that stood out. Yeah, I mean, Catherine Keener was fine. She was his
she
defensive.
Kathy Hochul?
Yeah, exactly. Kathy
Yo,
Hochul.
she's the tits.
Steve Coogan was
love her.
fine.
I
Harvey
fucking
Dent
love
was
her.
fine.
Yeah, Harvey, fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
Coogan undersold it.
Yeah, so
Who would you,
Sophie-
Coogan should have been Harvey Dent.
Coogan should have been Harvey Dent. That would have been
He would've
fantastic.
been
Oh,
fantastic.
see, yeah, that fits
Switch
the
those
molds
two.
better.
That
yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
Yo.
Where were you?
It's not about what's right, it's about what's fair.
I would really just say Gary Puddles and Brendan Gleeson are the other two standout performances in
Yeah,
this.
I would
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
That puddle scene is impactful. That and just like
It
the
makes
know.
me sad.
It's-
probably
of course,
the two
yeah.
most impactful scenes happen from those two guys from two different ways. Like there was a lot of. It's crazy to me how much ambiguity there was to people when I talked it. Like I was on the phone with my dad and I explained to him.
Yeah, what did your father have to say about this?
Same thing pretty much we did, except he didn't realize that the essay scene happened in the shower. And I was like, yeah, they dragged him back and he had no pants on. And that's when he changed
I am
everything.
so happy they didn't show any more than they did.
We don't
What-
need to.
What they did was
Yeah.
It's
enough, even
grotesque
maybe a little
as
more.
is, and I'm glad we didn't need to see it. But
It's-
we
well,
also
that's-
showed the impact it has on people.
Yeah,
and that's more
what-
powerful.
Yeah, that's power.
Power.
We were talking
It was
about-
sick.
Power.
We were in the theater like nobody moved.
Yeah,
Thank,
like it
thank
was-
God they didn't say it. We don't want to see that. We
don't wanna see that.
No.
Where are you going? Someplace exotic? Someplace erotic?
Arkham? Black Gate Prison?
Someplace Tahiti? Oh, push it.
Did you say
Someplace
something
erotic?
Did you say someplace erotic?
Yes.
Or in Natalie Wood's case, someplace aquatic?
We don't know how to stay on topic.
We can't stop it.
We're losing subscribers
We
as
need
fast as
to.
we
We need
got
to
them.
lock it down.
Lock
okay.
it. Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was because we had discussed this after the movie about that essay scene, and we were just like, yeah, it's actually good they didn't show because one, it was enough what they had, and two, it's like when you
It's almost
think
too
of
much what they had, too.
a horror movie, right? And they don't show the creature, the monster,
Yes.
the
Bird
villain,
Box.
and then your imagination starts running wild.
Exactly.
And like whatever you conjure
Marathon
up
Man.
here, way worse than what they would have put in.
I think that's
So-
why some people had
not literally, of
when you
course.
realize that's the catalyst, and I think we've explained it already on this and what the Joker is and why this movie worked as opposed to it. There's more supporting it working than there is it not working. Does it have its loose screws and widgets? Yeah, but like for what it is,
Loose screws and what?
widgets,
Oh, I thought you said witches.
there are no
Like,
witches.
loose witches. There.
Though I would like to see every Batman rogue get a movie treatment like this. I want a
Or
two-part
show.
Mr. Freeze or a show. Like I hear the Penguin is fucking right now. Like that's killing it. Mr. Freeze, the Riddler. I don't really need to see any more Catwoman because what are they gonna do?
There's already 9.
Well, Mr. Freeze, I think, is going to be the Batman, like the sequel.
If they don't do Hush, which I don't want.
Well, yeah, well, they should. I don't think they will because first, I love Hush. I love the storyline, but the Batman, the original story, is very much Hush inspired, and Riddler looked just like Hush. Plus, like the sign, Will, thank you, Will, for pointing that out. The sign is like the Batman 2 in winter. So I think they're saying it's.
Is that official? Because it's blue, right?
Yeah, it's
thinking
blue and
Mr.
it's like
Freeze?
snow. I think
Is
they're thinking.
I would love Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
And they're also saying
Yeah.
he's going to be DCU's Batman.
Of course.
Pattinson.
Of course you would love
They're
him.
not going to cast a new
I
one.
think
I
he's
love
not-
Freeze,
I
Maria.
love to freeze, Maria.
Stop.
Stop it, please. Maria, it's time. Maria, it's
I'm
time.
done.
It's, ti-
Freeze.
it's time for you to just chill out.
Everybody fuck your maid. Clap, 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 clap. That's not me clapping my hands, Maria. How low can you
my
go?
chlamydia.
Can you bring it down low? All the way to the top?
Jeez, like, swear to God, give me top.
I mean, personally, I'd like the bottom.
He honestly would be a good Mr. Freeze now.
Who,
Travolta.
Travolta? Sure. Travolta's a great actor.
He's a great actor. If
Yeah,
they just got
he
him.
would be.
I could see Mr. Freeze now.
Yeah, he's like gotten bulkier too.
I think the.
Wow, I can't believe Travolta's working out.
I wonder why. He's gonna finally beat up Miss Gavage. Jeez, like I'm gonna fuck you for once, man.
Tired of being the bottom.
who
Did I say that? I mean, I love being the bottom.
What else? What else am I missing about this movie? What else stands out?
I think it's yeah.
It reminded me. This movie, I could solidly say, reminded me of the Arkham book we always talk about so much now.
Oh yeah.
Like remember the scene where he's talking about the burning flesh, and you're reading the book. That's what the first 30 minutes of this movie felt like.
You're in for a read on that one.
What
Arkham
is it?
Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
It's very disturbing.
I'm kind of stoked about it because I feel like this movie was one of the few that ever really spent a lot of time in the asylum.
Very true. I think
know
probably
what I
the
mean?
only
Like,
movie.
Yeah.
I've never.
I guess
there was
the
so
Batman.
much time. I feel like half the movie was in
Oh
that
yeah, the
bitch.
Batman.
It was a character in this
Yeah.
movie. The way Gotham was in the
Yeah,
Batman.
I liked it.
And
you saw
Yeah.
the outside, the inside.
Yeah.
burnt down.
Well, it also goes on
around.
to show you this movie does two things. It shows you what happens when you abandon somebody with mental health issues, and it also is to face everything and run and face everything and rise. You know,
Yeah.
which path are you going to take here?
Oh,
and
did you just run back that quote?
I've
that
never
I-
stopped thinking
that
about
I
it since
sent
you
to
pointed it out.
It's
We
good,
listen to
right?
you on this podcast.
Wow, guys.
Well, this movie shows Arthur rising
So I
and
was like,
running.
no, actually, I just went back and saw that episode. It was top of mind. I totally forgot you said that.
No, I think about it all the time. Especially Arthur does both in this movie,
Yeah.
and you see the consequences of both.
Yeah,
First he
well-
rises, then he runs.
And then actually, he does that multiple times, I think. I think the most poignant one and the fastest turnaround is when he's at the trial and he sits down and he's like, I'm not this guy. I'm not the
Yeah, it's
Joker."
his
Yeah.
Walter White moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Him going. He goes. There is no Joker. It was just me. I fucked up. I shouldn't have done the things that I did. Which
That's
again,
as naked as it gets, and I don't think audiences wanted
and
that.
Joker
Yeah.
would never do that. And I also have to shout them out for not calling the inmate who is the Joker, not calling him Jack Napier. Because
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yes.
because I love when the Joker.
I really love your full name. You should go by it more
yeah,
often.
exactly. Yeah, Jack
Oh
Napier.
my God, so bad.
Robin,
so good.
fuck you. Fuck you.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. I agree
Take
with
off
you.
your clown shoes.
I love the ambiguity because does it end with that's life?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
ends with his
Yeah.
smile. Finally, it's
Well,
turned upside
yes.
down, and he
And
gets
the fucking that's the full circle from the first scene,
Which was
when he's-
awesome.
Oh,
it's
the
with blood.
animated scene.
the animated and the shaving.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
shaving
yeah,
too.
yeah,
The
yeah.
smile got turned
And the
upside down.
animated scene
Even
was
the
good.
camera angle was different.
Yes,
right? You know, it was upside
very,
down.
I think that people just didn't look hard enough. I think they were wanting this big, like really like loud, aggressive kind of
Yes.
like triumph musical movie.
Because
and
that's
like,
what
it was more of the first.
That's where
Which
Scorsese's
is-
kind of right, where he says these are kind of amusement park rides. In many ways, they are.
Yeah.
This was not. This was the one movie he was interested in directing a comic book movie.
And Todd
Yeah.
also kind of apologizing and saying like, "Hey, for the people that saw the first movie and thought, oh, this guy's cool. He's not cool. Like,
Yeah.
he's not cool. You know what's cool? Vegetables."
Yes, that's exactly what this is. This movie was Melfi stopping her treatment of Tony Soprano.
Exactly.
And
But he also finally kind of became the person he always wanted to be, which originally
martyr.
and was always the comedian. Because when he's at that trial, he grabs the chair, he grabs the mic, and even the judge was like, "This isn't a show, like this isn't a set." And he sat down, and then that's
that's
when he
true.
revealed that vulnerability of like, "I'm not the Joker." So, because as a comic, when you're on stage, right, you're your most exposed, vulnerable self. So he kind of did finally become a comedian, even though he wasn't being funny. I saw that as a little angle.
it was a
I don't
mirror
know.
to the scene in the first movie when he did his stand-up
Yeah,
act.
but now he finally
and
wasn't the
Dangerfield.
Joker. And
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
was
Dangerfields.
himself.
He closed
So-
Dangerfields. You're right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was a powerful. I didn't
Yeah,
even think
wasn't
of that.
Sam Morril the...
Sam
See,
Morril was in this
yeah.
one, and Tim Dillon was in this
Yeah.
one.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude,
I
what
texted Tim during this movie. I was like,
I was like,
dude,
what?
and then he's like, thanks, brother.
Tim Dillon was great at
That
this
was a
one.
great scene.
He was...
That was a turning point for Joker too, though. Like him
Yeah.
realizing that, and that was
I
that was.
hope you get
or Arthur, I hope you get cancer. That was very. That was some
I've never
Joker
laughed
shit.
at that. And
I
that was
remember
good.
talking to Joel, the security, our boy at Broadway.
Yo.
And when the first one came out, and he was like, "This guy wasn't like the cool clown prince of crime Joker," and I'm like, exactly. He wasn't supposed to be. And everybody talking about we need a funny Joker. The Dark Knight Joker is fucking hilarious. When he goes, "You think you can steal from us and walk away without missing a beat?" Yeah, that's improvised.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny.
The
That was
fucking
great.
Looney Tunes gag with the he's gonna need something a lot bigger to get
Yeah.
in here, and then
Yeah.
he's got a rocket launcher. The Joker is
when
fucking
he like
funny
put
in
his
this
head,
one.
when he puts his head out the
He
window,
puts
he's
his
like a
head out
dog.
the car window.
Dude,
He's so funny.
that was a great point by Joel. Shout out Joel, dude. Awesome points by that guy.
Yeah, like it's a funny movie. He's not funny in this because you're supposed to have the same reaction that he does when he's involuntarily laughing. That's his uncomfortableness, and that you're not supposed to look at that and go, "Ooh, fuck yeah!" You're
Yeah.
supposed to go, "Ugh, I don't want to be that guy." This movie makes you want to be Batman more than the ambiguity of the Nolan movies does. That movie shows you the tax of being Batman. This movie shows you the tax of being the Joker.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people didn't like. The only other movie that has done that, I could think, is Return of the Joker, where he dies at the end. Batman Beyond movie. right?
It's a great fucking movie.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So dark that they had to do 2 endings when that movie came out.
That's why I always say that. Even though he's called Tim Drake in that movie, that's really Jason Todd because
yes, because they never did Jason.
Yeah, because Jason was dead in the comics at the time, so they couldn't use him. But Tim would have never broken like that. Jason would have broken.
You never saw Return of the Joker movie, right?
No.
It's up there with the Mask of Phantasm. The animated movies. We should do our top 5.
Will recommended to me that I just read that this movie Joker 2 reminded me a lot of.
Which was?
It was called Batman Ego by Darwin Cook, who was one of the OG guys on Batman Beyond, and it's all about Batman is kind of at his wit's end with Joker. Joker's just, his actions have led to the most horrific crime, and so Batman's psyche kind of splits. And so Bruce is actually talking to Batman, and Batman's just embodied.
Finally.
It's vengeance and anger, and Batman's just saying to Bruce, he's kind of like the Punisher. He's like, we got to do it. We got to kill him. And Bruce is like, I can't do it. And Batman's like, you don't have to. Look at Harvey. Look at what Harvey does. Two-Face does all these things. Harvey has no idea what's going on. I can be that for you. I can kill the Joker. I can finally cross that line, and you would never know. And it's all about Bruce kind of coming.
Bruceface, Harvey, Bruceface.
Harvey Bruceface.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's all about Bruce kind of coming to terms with, hey, I can't do that. I know you're a part of me. He goes, we can't separate. He goes, but I can also never cross that line. And that's what this movie, a lot of that's about. It's people making the argument, hey, Arthur didn't do this. This was Joker. And Arthur going, no, we're one and the same.
At the end, that was the scene. The scene at the animated scene where it shows the split personalities was almost a cop out at first.
Yeah.
And this movie very much kept telling you he killed 5 people.
Six.
Six.
He killed 6 people. He needs to do something. Something
I
needs to happen.
suffocated my mom with a pillow. That's Tony Soprano right there, but he actually did it.
Yeah.
She did try to murder him.
Yeah,
both of them did.
Both,
Well, that was also his trigger
true.
and why Arthur reverted back to, because in this movie reminds you he was sexually abused as a child, and then when it happens to him as an adult, he snaps back, and it's almost like this hyperloop of time that he's trapped in, right? From these moments that happened to him when he was a child, and he finds out about them in the first movie when he's talking to Paperboy, and then he loses it and kills his mother, and then he compartmentalizes it into the Joker, and this movie is his second time around dealing with these consequences. And
I forgot Paperboy was in that movie.
Paperboy, you don't want to read about your mother, boy. And then the second one, when that happens to him, it's a rise or run. In the first movie, he rises. In the second movie, he runs. It's like an Irishman. A gun, you run. A knife, you charge. In this movie, he runs. You get assaulted in the shower, you run. You see Robert De Niro, you rise. All right, so De Niro, you rise. A shower, you run.
That is the rule of
That's
life.
the rule.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Do we think that the musical parts in this were
hallucinations, like Zaza Beat was in the first one?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's stepping it up.
Okay, we're all on the same
Much
page.
like we can all agree, he at the end he inspired the Joker, and that the sexual assault scene inspired him to stop being the Joker.
Yeah, well, that's what
Those are
musicals
3 big
are.
points.
When emotions get to be too difficult to put into words, they sing. And I don't think the singing happens in real life in the musicals, but it's just them.
Yeah, I know. That'd be fucking weird.
Yeah.
Leave me, Arthur.
Oh, shut up!
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Sandy, we got to keep singing or else we're going to have to start kissing.
Like, did you suck his cock?
Tell me more.
Tell me more. Like, was he Arthur Fleck?
Yeah, okay. So
Because
she,
he
was- she was
Wappa like a whoop, I got to suck some dick.
Shang bang, shower, bang bang.
she was a pyro though in this, Harley, right? So like she blew up the room, the movie, right?
But she was a
film.
bullshit artist. I think that was the
So-
first fire that she lit.
Yeah. Oh, she was definitely lying
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure.
Why do you say for sure? How did you smell that immediately? Because you were suspicious of Harley Quinzel, right, when you met her.
I was.
You didn't like that?
I've-
She's
I've
Jewish.
done that before.
And Slater was like, I have a bad feeling about this person.
Me and Fred Skull.
Me and Fat Scott fan.
Yeah, we conspire.
Call Brett out for mansplaining again.
And I have a message for you, my Fleck, that if you are going to become Joker, do not do it anywhere near October 7th.
That's today.
That's such a
I know.
meta impression.
Oh.
That's such a meta impression. You're just doing an impression
I'm doing
of
an
me
impression of you.
on Secret Identity during the Mr. Miracle episode.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Which we got
That
numbers.
was a weird inception.
Miracle was, I was thinking back to our last few episodes, and I was like, man, maybe we got to do a happy book soon.
We did Ultimate Spidey.
Which, but like that's also what comic books are. Like,
Isn't that the song?
from what? Because I'm
From
happy.
Joker 2.
Well, next we're doing
Come
we
on,
are.
get happy.
What song?
The song that's in Joker 2, the movie we're talking about.
I know. I'm asking what song. You just keep going. I'm happy.
Get happy.
Yeah, that is the
Put a
song.
smile on. Da-na-na-na-na.
Right.
It's an old song. She sang it like 50 fucking times.
Honestly,
They
every
used it in the
musical
trailer 80
performance went
times.
out to me other than For Once in My Life. Everything else was boring as shit. Because I think that was the first song. You're like, oh. And then every other song, I was like, okay, they kind of shot their wad.
Joaquin talked a lot of
Hallelujah.
shit in the first movie when he killed the guys on the train. He's like, they couldn't carry a tune for shit. But honestly, not that great a singer.
That's what I was highlighting. But pretty good for a guy who lost his virginity and was chain smoking all in the same movie.
That's true. Yeah, wow.
Let's put it up to the test. Could you last longer than the Joker? My answer, no. I was like, this sex scene is unrealistically long.
Yeah, I was with Gaga.
Oh my
Immediately, I'd be like, oh, yo,
Yes.
Begoya.
Oh,
Okay.
face.
Ah.
Show me Brent Palm, my face.
How's
My
she-
face.
I was
my
born this
So-
way.
It's always so funny when there's a sex scene, especially in a movie like that, because there's no way that Arthur Fleck was able to somehow make that happen and smoothly transition, and then fucking
It's gonna be a
within-
mess. It's gonna be
without-
some puddles.
yeah. Could you imagine Mr. Puddles? I call him Mr. now. He's just under
Puddles.
the bed.
Oh, you called him a pig.
You shouldn't have done
Should have
that.
done that. You shouldn't have called him a pig.
That's
They
Mr.
called me
Pig.
Mr. Pig.
I can't get into the point I was gonna make, but it's
We were referencing a movie we were referencing Lion King, which is referencing a movie from the 60s in the
They
heat
call
of the
me
night.
Mr. Pibb.
Mr.
Sidney
Tibbs.
Poitier,
Yeah,
right?
Sidney Poitier, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I was just hung up at what I was talking about.
I know, which was. Continue. We were
No, it's
apologizing
over
for our
now.
rant.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm over it. It doesn't matter. I don't think I'm allowed to say it anyway.
Oh.
That's good.
Okay, good.
You wrapped that bow up for yourself, man. Overall, did you? Because we saw both of these in theaters. Now I'm thinking about it. We saw the first one, and I was like, "Yeah, you can get up and pee," but it was the scene where you find out about Thomas Wayne, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, sorry, major context here that
Oh,
you left out." And then we saw
yeah.
the second one.
Well, yeah, you know what? Sometimes I kind of have to rate a movie on if I go to the bathroom and I didn't miss anything. That's
And you
maybe-
went to the bathroom like
maybe
3
a
times in this,
problem.
and you didn't miss
And
anything.
we both left 2 times, so 4 total, and we didn't have to catch each
Not
other up.
once.
Go
We'd
to the
sit down and be
bathroom
like, honestly,
one
nothing.
time, take a dump
2 times, pissing during the Joker sequel.
Yeah.
I had a
Usually that's a
stream.
bad sign, but I think it's just because it was
It's
taking
like how it was
time,
during
and
Avatar.
everybody now is all instant gratification. I'm like, come on. It's a slow
Yeah.
Like
movie.
Arthur Fleck while fucking
Most of the
Gaga.
reviews people- yeah, the fastest part in that movie was their fuck.
That was the fastest paced scene.
Now that's a joke.
Call me Wally West.
Yeah, which one's faster, the Flash or Joker when he's coming? Sure. Yeah,
I think Hawkgirl has a line. Doesn't Hawkgirl have like a line about that on Justice League to Flash?
where she
Oh,
she-
yeah.
He's like fastest man alive. She goes,
Yeah, there was. That was in the one we read.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
there's more pluses to this than there are negatives. And big picture, we can make movies about any character now.
They just should have sold it differently.
How would you have sold it versus how they sold it?
Not by
Kind of like the Sopranos movie.
Not by making it. I literally thought the whole thing was going to be a whole musical, and I don't like musicals. I just can't get behind it. I don't know. I think it's
That's why we were shitting on
I'm
it.
just not-
I don't like those. I'm watching a musical the other day. I see this plant and I go, can you hear him singing? As this plant, he's talking. This plant, we gotta close the borders. This plant came in. He ate a dentist. He was an anti-dentite. And then all of a sudden they just stop and I go, did you not just see this guy be a gay for 4 minutes?
Suddenly Seymour, don't like Seymour, he's
We
a
don't like him.
loser.
I never liked Seymour. He wants to endorse Trump. I could have told Seymour. Get that.
that's him right now.
Seymour's calling me. I see Seymour at this rally. I could have told him to drop to his knees and beg.
Seymour, say less.
He could have begged for my endorsement. He would have got it. Seymour, we don't like him anyway. You didn't like how they pitched this movie.
Yeah, no.
Because of the musical aspect.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it were me, I would have done it differently by not advertising it the whole with songs only.
didn't even need the songs.
And the fact that you're using this musical powerhouse Gaga, who now you're gonna think there's gonna be crazy new sick numbers being displayed in this shit, and there's not. She's fucking croaking half the time. She's
Yeah.
whispering.
She
She's
needs
not
some
even
numbers on the
belching at
board.
all. Like,
I no, I agree. I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
No, I think it's a complete false marketing. It reminds me a lot of She-Hulk. She-Hulk was marketed as a courtroom drama, and they
got Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a live-action Harvey Birdman, which would have been amazing. I was expecting her to be like Kim Wexler, and instead, the writers had no idea how to write courtroom scenes.
Nobody knew how to write it. I mean, it's crazy because they have that final scene with her and the Kevin Feige robot.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, so you were aware that a show was being shot
Yeah.
at this time. What the fuck happened? And I didn't hate She-Hulk. It was just, it was there. Every week I watched it. I haven't watched Agatha. Maybe that's She-Hulk. Like no amount of hype will ever amount to what WandaVision got because that was like the first season of Mandalorian. We didn't know what we were getting into. In WandaVision, people were name dropping Mephisto every week with their hypotheses.
Ralph Boner.
Oh my god! And like that,
Boner.
the fallout from that show is, I think, what sort of people's reaction was to this movie. Like, if you hated it, it's like the Blair Witch Project.
You hated it because your expectations were brought to a level that wasn't the reality. That's all it is. It's not a bad movie. You just were sold something, and then you tried it, and you're like, this is not what I like.
It's Many Saints of Newark, and it's the Blair Witch Project. This movie falls in the category of you were either going to love it
Kangaroo
or
Jack.
hate it. Or Kangaroo Jack, With the star of that, Dennis Quaid, or
Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell. Goddamn.
You know who the villains in Kangaroo Jack are though? Michael Shannon.
Oh,
I will find him.
I will find him, you pack of fools. all of you.
And Christopher Walken.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I'm giving you $50,000. Don't put the money in a jacket and put the jacket on the kangaroo.
And Anthony Anderson
He
is
has
the
his
only
own pocket.
He has his pocket.
the voice of Jack in that.
I don't even know.
That was the only birthday party I ever had as a kid.
Really?
It was a screening of Kangaroo Jack.
It's a great movie. Anthony Anderson's so good in that movie.
And this movie and this franchise, the Joker, Todd Phillips franchise, pulls off the impossible, really, of putting out a dense movie that you could also put out in theaters. Now, the sequel flopped immediately.
Of course.
It's already shot down like 33%, and the numbers just went... whew.
They're calling it the worst sequel of all time. It's just stupid
Dude,
shit.
it's so, yeah.
You're telling me this is worse than Son of the Mask?
It's
Oh,
so
man, the Jamie Kennedy one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He even says that's the worst movie of all time.
It's horrible.
Yeah, no, this movie, it overhated. That's how I'm going to rate it. Overhated.
Overhated.
Yeah, because if the first one didn't exist, and imagine this was the first one, I think it would be pretty well received.
Also, the first one wasn't that good. That's what people forget. The first one was an amazing performance, but
exactly what you're saying.
That's why
before.
people got mad at me when I said this was on par with the first one.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I knew what the first
they're
one
like
was.
this. They're the same exact movie. Like the first one drove me crazy because it came out the same year as Endgame. The first one got all these Oscar nominations. They weren't even considering Endgame, and Endgame was such a better movie.
Downey should have got the
Yeah.
Oscar
For
nomination
sure.
for Endgame.
Downey deserved it more for Endgame than he did for fucking Oppenheimer. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
that was them
Yeah.
giving it to him when they should have.
Yeah,
they
they're
fucked
like,
up
hey,
twice.
sorry,
Yeah.
we're gonna switch trade a year.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
'Cause
you
the
know
first
what
time
this
he was-
is really for.
Al Pacino getting it for Scent of a Woman,
Yes.
not Godfather.
And
Yeah,
then
exactly. They feel bad. They're like-
Heath Ledger getting it for Dark Knight and him not getting it for Iron Man. You know, they're both nominated
Oh,
the
yeah.
same year. Downey
No,
was
but
nominated.
he was nominated, though, not for Iron Man. He was nominated for Tropic Thunder.
Was it?
Oh my god, what do you
That
mean?
makes sense.
You
people. What do you mean, you people?
Dude, that was crazy.
Dude, that movie's amazing.
I love that movie. I don't care.
No, it holds up. Nobody shits on Downey for that movie because that movie
And what
also
was-
knew
what was-
what it was.
Absolutely.
Yo, but yeah, but they did that, and then they did fucking what's it, Jack or whatever the character.
Oh, Simple Jack.
Yeah, like I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like, they
Well, that
went
movie,
hard.
nobody hated it because it's not like Blazing Saddles or a movie like people getting mad at John Wayne because of he was this poster boy for America.
Wayne's
It's very
dad?
his dad. It's very easy to attack him for the morals of yesterday, and of course John Wayne was racist. But like you have to understand who that guy was in the context of what he was surrounded by.
Yeah.
And
This
it's
is
a different time.
It's a
Like
different
not
time.
to not to
Blazing Saddles was written by Pryor.
exactly
Yeah.
and there's you have to this movie was a mirror to mental health, and however you interpret it is the waters are going to get murky, and now we're seeing the fallout of murky waters. I think that's all that's happening. And will
Yeah.
people come to appreciate it like the prequels of Star Wars? I think so, with time, as you start to see comic book movies get continuously shittily I don't want to say malnourished, but sort of refined to a studio liking.
Of course.
You're going to see them get
Shazam 2.
Shazam 2. This movie didn't have a focus group. It didn't have a test screening. It had nothing. And I almost like that. I
Yeah.
like to see it from the eye of the beholder because you have to think the director trusts the actor because the director casted the actor, so they're going to let them put on the performance. And that it's just a trifecta of a relationship that allows something like this to blend into the beauty that it was. That's why The Dark Knight was so good. And the third one wasn't because they missed a part in the chain. That was they were trying to make a part two to something that was gone.
Apartheid.
And then they made a sequel to the first one, and it didn't
Why?
work. Yeah, Jesus.
What does that have to do with anything?
It just sounded like he was gonna say that, and then I was like zoning out because he was on a Troy rant for a bit. And then I don't
Speaking of the
know.
segregated personalities of Arthur Fleck, he was the Nelson Mandela of the Joker movement.
On the subject of bad things, apartheid.
No, we're on the train of talking about bad stuff.
Ah,
Threw that in
yeah.
there.
Today is October 7th.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's also terrible to say.
What? Today?
Well, yeah. I mean, the
Yeah,
only.
you know why, Brent. Don't
Well,
you?
because-
You don't.
Yeah. What?
Do you know?
Well, why October 7th is bad?
Yeah.
He very much does.
He does? You think
Yeah,
he
you know,
does?
we had a whole discussion on October 8th. We filmed an episode, and we basically
Wow.
the episode was so bad.
Portia
This was
read the
Dark
papers.
Phoenix.
Yeah, it was so bad that we drank the rocks tequila and talked about the state of Israel and Palestine, and I learned a lot from Brent. And we also, it was, if we recorded that probably would have been more enjoyable than listening to the Dark Phoenix episode, because
Yes.
that book sucked.
That book was so bad.
Objectively bad. This movie subjectively bad.
Yes.
I
There we
think.
go.
I think good. Just
That's
to
what I
get
wanted to do.
apartheid
Yeah.
bad. Any other
Joker
splitting
too.
opinions?
That's
here?
what you were trying to do. You were saying apartheid, but then you took a bite of the bar. So you were trying to say apartheid is bad.
Yes.
But you were eating.
Yeah.
It's the pause there that
It's
will
the
kill
pause.
you.
Yes.
Or as we will call it, Joker haha land.
Ha ha land. Yeah.
Holland.
That's the movie for me. That's what I'll always call it, Ha Ha Land. The same way we got Fan Four Stick. This is Ha Ha Land.
Oh, I can't wait to find out what yours is gonna be.
What?
Your quote. I'm fan for stick. You're ha ha land. I wonder what little thing you're gonna get.
I'm a
Brett's
voice,
got a
yeah,
bunch.
I'm a voices guy, not a.
My advice for you, my friend, is to go watch
Yeah.
the Joker 2 with an open mind. and understand.
You're more the writing mind. I'm more of a the vocal
I'm a
inflection.
bit of an idea, man.
Yeah.
I'm more of the butthole. I got it.
Next episode is Venom, and then we're
Venom.
doing Dark Knight. or White
We're
Knight.
doing Venom, then we're doing the Doom one,
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah.
Venom, Books of Doom, and
and
then,
then White Knight.
Batman, White Knight,
Yeah.
yes.
As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, write a review
Yeah,
on
what did we
Spotify,
get wrong?
Apple.
What did you
yeah.
like about it? What didn't you like it? Give
Yeah.
us an over-under for this movie, because there's a lot of stuff to love. There's a lot to hate. And I think
There's
this,
so much hate. When I just looked up the scoring thing,
33%.
it was like everything that popped up was like tanks, flops, blaming the casting, and like
Yeah.
all this shit. I'm like,
No.
the casting, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
Fuck off.
overhated.
Overhated.
We all can agree. We all concur.
Appreciate.
A modern day Gangs of New York.